Morning, welcome to the video. It's actually Tuesday today. Yesterday, Monday, was spent just finishing off Saturday's hedge job, which was like basically the boundary hedge line. I mean, in an ideal world, you would have had a flail and a tractor to go down and do that, but obviously it's on a property, although rural. So unfortunately it was ladders and hedge cutters. Anyway, it's all done now. So all but a very small part. That's all the hedging done. Today we are out doing a full day of lawn care, and what I'm going to be doing is aerating, feeding, and then treating any weeds which are there. These are the only two jobs in Hazelmere that I have left. And that is because they're pretty much next door to each other, and they are a good day's work. So for 4 days of the year I go over there and do the treatments. So I'm happy to do that as it's a good day and it's not bitty or anything like that. So yeah, so we're going to take the aerator now. If you remember it now, I've had it out and I've had it running and it seems to be all fine. So I guess what we'll do now is turn it on, and I've run it with the revs, I've run it on tick over, it all seems to be going well. So let's see if we can, okay, maybe it's gone cold again. Choke on. Yeah, so it seems to be working okay. Give it some revs. Perfect. One of the lawns is quite a large lawn, certainly the back lawn is, so we are going to take the big billy goat blower, and this will be the first time we use this for the autumn season. This obviously is, you think of it as a leaf blower, but I use it through the lawn care season for the scarifying, debris, and the hollow cores. I'll explain more about that when we're on the job. So I just need to get some fuel in that and check that that is starting and running before we go. It's a big bit of kit to take for no reason. But generally it looks a bit of a tip because stuff like the blower had been at the very back, and there's so much sorting which needs to be done in here. Probably May time. Okay, so switch on, fuel on, choke on, a little bit of revs. First property. This is the lawn over here, so I don't mow this. They have a gardener who mows it for me, and yeah, you can see that it's in need of a bit of a feed now, which is as expected. And I'll show you the back, and here's the back too. It's always windy up here on top of the hill, and here's the back, so yeah, looking good. Okay, so today we're going to be aerating, so we're going to be hollow tining. Now there's a couple of philosophies on hollow tining. There's some lawn care companies out there that will take the cores out and then just leave them on the lawn. Theory being that each core contains nutrients, topsoil, a rooting plant, so grass with, you know, established grass with the roots, etc, and the idea is that over time that will break down and it'll go back into the lawn. However, it looks really messy leading up to that point. Also, quite often, if the cores you're pulling out, if you look at the core and it contains some moss, some thatch, some weeds, it could be really bad soil, what's the point of trying to put that back in the lawn? The idea is that you're trying to remove all this stuff. So my philosophy is always to pick it up, unless it was clearly good stuff, and then you had like a low area that I've showed before that you could actually move all the cores and recycle it and push it into those low areas or those kind of rooty areas and smooth it out. That's a great way of recycling it for a good cause. So today, as I say, I'm going to pretty much be collecting it. Now you can see where I've walked through, the lawn is quite dewy, so what I'm going to do is take the blower, and I've shown this on social media so many times, and I'm just going to very quickly walk over it and take the worst of the dew off. Now the reason for that is when we go to collect the cores, wet cores can be quite sticky, so I want it to be as dry as possible. Now there's a bit of a wind, so as I say, that's hopefully going to dry the leaf off quicker, so that's actually going to make the clear up operation a lot quicker. And then what we'll do is we'll go around any weeds, we'll treat as long as it doesn't get too windy. I do have a product that I add to the weed killer which just helps prevent drift, and also helps stick it to the plants, so we'll have that mixed up as well. And then we'll feed the lawn. So yeah, three main things going on today, and then we're going to go around the corner to a house which is literally 200 yards away, and then do a much smaller lawn. So anyways, I'm going to get the blower out and start blowing. Okay, so before we start, so I've blown off the lawn from the dew. You don't need to see that, it's pretty self-explanatory. I currently have, let me flip you around, the solid tines on. These are the 15mm solid tines, and to get them off, essentially it's a 17mm spanner connected on, and I can't do it one-handed because they're tight, but just turning them and then they unscrew. And then we have the hollow tines here. Now what you'll always end up with, unless you clean it out when you've last used it, is a solid bit of soil in there which won't come out. Now because it's so solid, when it pushes into the ground it may not necessarily push it out, so what you'll basically end up with is another solid tine. So what a good thing to do is, actually I haven't got them, is use your the pencil tines or a screwdriver or something along those lines, just to push down and scrape it out. Be careful, because obviously this can be quite sharp, quite jaggedy, but you need to get this soil out first, and it's, as I say, it's pretty solid. And then when you put them on, you'll notice these have washers on and these have washers on. Now if you've only got one set of washers, make sure that you take the washers off of here and put them on here, and then basically unscrew that, screw that up, job done. Now what you might expect is for the eyelet, the open bit, to be at the back. That's not the case with these. They just kind of, you tighten them up and they kind of end up in whatever position they end up. That's normal, that's fine, it still works. But if you were setting a verti-drain, then yeah, you would expect all the holes to be at the back. All done. So this is in total about about 1,000 square meters, just under. So it probably took an hour probably to smash it all out. If you look down here, you can see all the holes. So the first thing I'm going to do is, obviously I've turned this off. Now before I push it across the path and back up against the gravel, you can see in there, well you probably can't, but there you go. There's a build-up of tines or hollow cores. So what I want to do is, when I'm blowing the cores, what I want to do is get all that blown out and get this cleaned off. Because firstly, I don't want to take these people's waste home, and secondly, I don't want to dump these people's waste on somebody else's lawn, because if you have a lawn disease, that is how you're going to spread it to other gardens, by taking the waste and the debris which is stuck to the mower, or the aerator in this case, and depositing it on somebody else's lawn. So I'll always look to clean off, and that goes for the scarifier as well. So I will leave this here now, and what I'll do is I'll go back to the first lawn on the driveway. Okay, so this was the first lawn I did. So what's happened is the cores here have had an hour, say, to just sit on the lawn and the air get to it and just dry them out a little bit. This is ones from the back lawn. The back lawn seems to be a little bit more thatchy. So yeah, on this one, all I'm going to do is just blow it with the backpack blower into a pile, and then yeah, just clear it up into a ton bag and drag it down the bottom. Same with this lawn over here. And again here, just get this all blown up into a pile, then leave it, let it dry a bit more. On the bottom one, slightly different. What I want to do is get it all round that big tree at the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll get it out from the side with the backpack, and then use the billy goat to push it all back down, and then just fill it in and around the roots. It's just a good place to put it. So there we go. So I've been here probably 4 hours, maybe just under, and it's all done, it's all fed. And it's funny, you know, when the grass is, I assume the grass was cut on Friday, it's normally cut here, you can barely see the holes from here, but then you go down, and then, you know, then you can start to see them. It's obviously on the, you know, and now if you look, you can see the fertilizers in there as well. So yeah, it's that's why I like the bigger holes, because it just, for the client, it just feels like they've got a bit more value when they come out and they look out the window and go, it doesn't look like he's been. At least when they walk across the grass, they can see the holes. Here's the front, a little bit of red thread in here, but that's fine. It's just telling us it needed a feed. It's had a feed, life's great. Now if that red thread was to remain, then you'd maybe look to use something with a bit more iron in it. There's a, I can't remember if it's 1 or 0.5% iron in this fertilizer, so that might help, but you know, I'm pretty confident that that red thread there is purely because it needs a feed, because I know it needs a feed. And that's always quite good to have a diary. Well, you should assume you have diaries, so you know when you last made your visit, so you can work out exactly when that was, and you should know exactly how long your fertilizer should last. Anyways, just tidying up now, and then nip round the corner to the next one. Morning, so it's Wednesday today, so we had a full day of lawn care yesterday, and then also I got in a quote for a lawn which is very close to where I live. Also on a Thursday, it's I literally drive by it to go home, so it's a lawn that's had some renovations done badly, and he just wants regular maintenance as well as mowing as well, so we're going to get the quote into that, and I might even be able to start the work as I drive past tomorrow. So I just had to come back up because it's a mowing day, fortnightly mowing day, wet lawn as you know it, and then the 2 others that I do on that day. So swap everything over, aerator, blower out. You may notice it does look a little bit tidier in there actually. Moved a few things around, there was quite a bit of space at the back, so just shoved it all forwards, just created a bit of space here. Like I say, I need to have a proper sort out in the winter. I've also took the spreader home last night, so I can give it a good wash out. Any fertilisers, you should wash it out every time, but particularly if you've had iron products in your fertiliser, because it just eats the scarifiers up. It eats the spreaders up. Anyways, right, I will go to the first one and I'll see you there. Okay, so this is wet lawn. It's not really wet today. It was long though, very long. So that's that cut, and now we're going to go and do the back garden, which is equally as long. Okay, so we're on third job of the day, which is this one, you may remember. And on the Time Master I've been hearing a bit of a whirring noise, not too sure what it was, but certainly nothing had been affected by anything, and obviously it's been broken down, it's gone to the shop, it's come back, and that kind of whirring noise was still there. Then all of a sudden just hit something, and it was like, I honestly thought one of the blades had fallen off and was just being like smashed around inside, so obviously I've stopped it. And the problem is this, they're both in the same position, which means, and of course it's very difficult to do this one-handed, they're smashing into one another. So all I can assume is that the belt has something's happened to the belt, or one of the spindles. I've had a spindle come off before, and that has made it go loose. There is only one way to find out, and that is to take the top off and have a look. So basically it's take this off. A very quick way of doing it would be just to, this is how you tension the belt actually. It's just taking this flap off here. So yes, it is, there we go, spindle's broken. Okay, so what I had done, if you remember, I had bought all the spare belts and kept them in the van. So I've had one of those go before on the other mower. There you go, that spindle should be on there, and that's what's happened. So fortunately, this is quite a big lawn, but I've literally only got this section to do, so I can run the whatever you call it, the 56 Pro over, just to get this bit done, and then yep, get another spindle ordered, and then I'm obviously the spare one, and this is why we have spare mowers. Tomorrow I'll just pick up the second Time Master and just use that tomorrow. So not the end of the world, but I will I was about to take everything apart, so got my socket set from Lidl, which I bought for about £6 10 years ago. Everything's still in there. Amazing, huh? And that's because I always keep magnet trays. I've got loads of these things, so whenever I take something off, nothing gets lost in the grass. It all goes into a magnetic tray. So yep, that's okay. I'm fine. I'm happy with this. That's an easy fix, and the belt actually looks pretty solid as well. So yeah, I will get that sorted. I'll get the Time Master out. Sorry, the 56 out, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so Thursday. So picked up the working Time Master. I'm hoping that actually the parts are going to be dispatched and actually arrive today. For that, for the Time Master, hopefully the parts will be delivered tonight, in fact. So got the first job done. I'm now at this property, and they're having some building work started, so the dumper, the digger, everything's got to come through here. So there's obviously not enough room for the digger and the cab and everything, so we're basically going to take everything back to, I guess, here. So anything forwards of here is going to come off, and then we're probably going to take the pergola. If we don't take it down, we'll at least take the top off it so the cab can get in. Morning. So it is Friday, and we're going to attempt some lawn care this morning, although there are weather warnings for midday onwards, so it's a rush. What we're doing here, usual number one Friday lawn. You might be looking at it going, what's happened here? I have just cut it, just dark and light, just low, on a low setting, not to scalp it as such, but just to take all the growth off and a little bit more. So that's why it looks kind of how it looks. If you look over to this side here, you can see that's a lot more sort of lush over there compared to here. So yeah, and then what we're going to do is take the scarifier over it and get it a feed, and there's a couple of sort of isolated areas under trees and stuff which is pretty poor, so we'll chuck some seed down in there, because it looks as though next week it's all going to be rain, and it also now apparently it's going to rain at sort of midday. So if we can get this done and smash it out, I have got a young lad coming to help me, whose grandparents are one of my longest clients. So he lives around the corner, so I've asked him to get here in the next 10 minutes actually, just to give me a hand. Okay, so we've been cut and we've scarified, and what we have is a clear up job over there. Let's check it out. First time on a blower. Not bad. So we've got 1 pile, 2 piles, 3 piles, yeah. Pretty happy with that. What I said to him was to take his time, go slowly, get it all thoroughly, and he's done that. So as I say, first time on a blower. Yeah, happy with the clean up. So he's done well. Okay, so now it's all swept up. Just cutting now, just to get all the grass that stood up, get that all cleared up. Any of the remaining bits of clippings cleared up, and yeah, but there's also a stripe in for when we feed in a minute. Okay, you can probably hear it's begun to rain now. Now fortunately, we've got to the point where everything that we need to do in the dry has been done. The seed's down. All I need to do is just get a bit of soil out, move it around just a little bit here and there, and then feed. And I can feed in the rain, that's no problem. I've got a cover for the spreader, but essentially everything's been done. Now, if it carries on, may not be able to do any more scarifying or anything like that, so we'll just have to see how it goes. But it might be that it just passes. I'll check my weather map in a minute and then we'll see. But for the moment, with the help of Ollie, it has worked, because there was no way I would have got all this done in time on my own, and I'd be halfway through the clear up of the scarifying, and that would have been the worst outcome. So yeah, we're good, I think. Okay, so I'm back at the container now, and the sunshine is out, but it's too late to start anything else. So unfortunately, that is it for the week. Everything in the van is absolutely soaking. So I mean, I would get everything out anyway, but yeah, I need to get everything out just to dry it off, and probably just dry the van out a little bit, if nothing else. So we got lawn care done on one half of one lawn, but at least that's done now. We can forget about that. So hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, we get to Friday and I cannot remember what has happened. But, oh, we had some breakdowns. Of course we had some breakdowns. With the Toro, as it always seems to be. The part hasn't turned up actually. I nipped home just before I came here and I was hoping that it turned up so I could get that fitted. But I've got the other Time Master. That's the whole reason why I have the two mowers. Oh, excuse me. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.